Welcome back to the cryptowrld channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now Bitcoin is still holding above this key area of support that we need to pay attention to, as the Bitcoin dominance is still pulling back, which is helping Ethereum still remain in this sideways price range, while XRP is now being supported by this critical line on the price chart. So I'll be talking about all of that and more later in the video, so definitely watch to the end. First of all, starting off on the weekly Bitcoin price chart, and the super trend indicator is still sitting in the green, indicating a larger bull market. So we've not yet confirmed any new bear market, but if we're taking a look at this weekly Bitcoin price chart, we can still see this massive bearish divergence already confirmed, already playing out for the price of Bitcoin, as I've been warning about every day for a month now on the channel, which means at best we're going to be lacking bullish momentum for a period of weeks, if not months, but most likely see a bit of a pullback or a correction for the price of Bitcoin later in August and leading into September is exactly what I've been saying since about a month ago, and obviously it is now playing out as predicted, and this could likely continue well into September. And if we're taking a look at this 3-day Bitcoin price chart, looking at the 3-day Bitcoin MACD, the histogram is still sitting in the red, indicating more bearish momentum than bullish momentum. So yes, on smaller time frames, from time to time we can see short-term bounces from points of support or playing out short-term bullish divergences, things like that on smaller time frames, like these little green candles right here. But in terms of the momentum in the market, currently we're still pointing more in the bearish direction, as we can clearly see. So overall, at least for the next few weeks, it is looking quite likely we're going to continue showing a lot of weakness for the price of Bitcoin. So not necessarily a massive crash all the way straight down like this, but still looking quite weak, at least for a number of weeks, is very likely. But of course, as soon as we start to see this turn, I will let you know about it straight away here on the channel, as always. So make sure you subscribe to the channel with notifications turned on so that you don't miss out on any of these important update videos. And if we're taking a look at this daily Bitcoin price chart, at least for now, the price of Bitcoin is still finding a lot of support in this area, the golden pocket area of support, based on this low and this high. Looking at the Fibonacci retracement, we have the golden pocket sitting in between around 106.7k to 107.6k. So at roughly around 107 to 108,000, give or take, we have a lot of support around there for the price of Bitcoin. But if we start to see a daily candle close, for example, confirm below around 107,000, give or take, and especially if we fail to get back above that area, in that situation, of course, that would likely become new resistance, and the next short-term target based on these Fibonacci levels is sitting at just above 103,000, around 103,500, give or take. And then below that, obviously, I'll be targeting closer towards these previous lows, which based on the daily candle closes is sitting at roughly 101,000, or based on the actual candle wick low, sitting at around 98,000. But once again, for now, the immediate support to watch out for is at roughly 107,000, give or take. And if we're zooming into the shorter term, taking a look at the 4-hour Bitcoin price chart, we could clearly see this lack in bullish momentum, the price cooling off on the slightly larger time frames here. On the smaller time frames, looks more like a short-term bearish trend. Clearly, the trend just on the 4-hour time frame is indeed a bearish trend. We're forming lower highs and lower lows, as we can clearly see. And at least at the time of recording this video, we've not yet confirmed any trend reversal signal to actually invalidate this short-term bearish trend, which means, at least for now, we are still in the short-term bearish trend, which means, yes, we could see little bounces here and there, but don't be fooled by those short-term bounces, because the trend and momentum just in the shorter term, the short to mid-term, still looking more bearish than it is bullish. And as for resistance to watch out for, in case we see any little bounces here in the short term during the bearish trend, of course, we have this previous low right here, now acting as new resistance, sitting at around 109,500. So as we approach close to 110,000, expect a lot of resistance around there, and then above that, expect a lot more resistance in between around 112,000 to 112,500. So roughly 112,000. That's also a key level on the price chart, right around there. And above that, expect a bit more resistance at 114,500 and massive resistance at around 117,000. Those are the key points of resistance to watch out for if we see a bit of a bounce here in the short term. And of course, just yesterday in my last video here on the channel, right around here at this local low, I said it's very likely we're going to see maybe just a slight little bounce like this in the immediate short term over the next 1 day or so. And obviously, since yesterday, that did indeed play out as predicted. But once again, as I've been saying for a long time, yes, we could see these short-term bounces, but don't be fooled. We're still lacking bullish momentum, still showing a lot of weakness, especially on the slightly larger timeframes here. And of course, if you want to trade any of these moves in the price of Bitcoin or any other crypto, you have to be set up ready to go on a crypto exchange. And personally, I take a lot of my crypto trades right now over on BTNX. So I'll make sure to leave a link to BTNX below this video in the description and in the pinned comment. And if you use that link, it'll take you to this page right here where you can claim some major bonuses, basically free money just by trading crypto, which if you're going to be trading crypto anyway, you might as well check it out. First link below this video. So you can enter into a 25,000 USDT prize pool, which is only available to the BTNX accounts out there that have actually been using the link below this video to make your BTNX account. And so obviously, if you want to have a shot at this major 25,000 US dollar prize pool, basically free money from the exchange, definitely check it out. First link below this video. And in case you're wondering, BTNX is a no KYC exchange, which means you can access it from basically any country in the world without needing any KYC. But as always, check your local regulations when it comes to trading crypto. And for whatever reason, if you don't want BTNX as an exchange, there's also Pinex as another exchange out there that I also trade on. So I'll also make sure to leave a link to Pinex below this video. And if you use that link, it'll take you to this page right here where you can also claim some major bonuses. For example, if you simply just make an account using the link below this video, complete KYC, takes about 60 seconds to do this, you get a free $50 bonus onto your Pinex account, but only if you use that link. And then also there's huge deposit bonuses here. For example, if you deposit just $100, you get a $100 bonus, free money from the exchange onto your account. Or if you deposit up to $10,000, you get a $1,000 bonus onto your Pinex account. But once again, all of these bonuses here are only available if you're actually using the links below this video to make your Pinex account or BTNX account. So once again, if you're going to be trading crypto anyway, you might as well check these exchanges out. The links below this video to claim these major bonuses here. And with that being said, if we're taking a look at the Bitcoin liquidation heat map, right now we have a small amount of liquidity at around 107,000. And there's also still that small amount of liquidity at roughly 119,000, give or take, which is more visible on slightly smaller time frames in the Bitcoin liquidation heat map. But the main level to watch out for on the last 1 month worth of price action in the liquidation heat map, the main level of liquidity to watch out for sitting at roughly 91 to 92,000. But honestly, right now the Bitcoin liquidation heat map is not currently my main focus for predicting the price of Bitcoin, due to the fact that we don't really have significant levels of liquidity very close to the price of Bitcoin in the short term. Obviously, most of the major levels are quite a distance away from the current price of Bitcoin. And also keep in mind, we have to obviously look at the momentum in the market, the trend in the market, which at least in the somewhat shorter term, still pointing in the bearish direction. But of course, look at these points of support where the price could possibly see just short-term bounces from these points of support. And if we're taking a look at the Bitcoin dominance chart on the 3-day time frame, right now the Bitcoin dominance is continuing the larger pullback. Obviously, the larger price structure, trend, or momentum, if you want to call it that, still pointing in the bearish direction. And once again, right now we are simply continuing the pullback, which is good news for the altcoin market. As I always say, if the Bitcoin dominance is pulling back, it means altcoins are gaining market share against Bitcoin on average. Not every single altcoin, but a lot of the major altcoins will hold up a bit better than what Bitcoin is doing. So for example, if Bitcoin pulls back while the Bitcoin dominance is pulling back, some altcoins may still end up seeing a pullback against the US dollar in the altcoin price, but maybe not as much as what Bitcoin is doing, for example, if the Bitcoin dominance is also pulling back. So once again, this is good news for the altcoin market for as long as the Bitcoin dominance continues the pullback. And if we're taking a look at Ethereum on the 3-day time frame, right now Ethereum is still trading in the same sideways price range exactly as I've been saying it would over the last 1 week or so. I've been saying every day over the last half a week to 1 week, expect the price to just bounce around in this sideways price range as the most likely outcome here in the short term. And I continue to say that right now, expect the price to continue bouncing around in this sideways price range at least for the next few days, maybe even a number of weeks, but at least the next few days, the price is likely going to remain range bound in this range right here. And in case you're wondering, this area of support is still sitting in between around 3.9k to 4.1k, and this area of resistance is still sitting in between around 4.8k to 4.9k. And clearly the larger price structure, the longer term trend, still looking very bullish for Ethereum. Just the shorter term trend, or the short term situation for Ethereum, is that we're simply just in a sideways price range, consolidating around all-time highs, just under all-time highs. And if we're taking a look at the daily Ethereum price chart, technically speaking, this bearish divergence is still active, which means just in the shorter term, maybe for a number of days, we're likely still going to be lacking bullish momentum, which means we might see just either a slight little pullback like this, bullishness, or maybe just some choppy sideways price action, but once again, just lacking momentum in the short term. And remember, for as long as the Bitcoin dominance is pulling back like this, that's going to help a lot of the altcoins, including Ethereum, actually hold up a little bit better than what Bitcoin is doing. So while Bitcoin is cooling off like this, obviously a lot of the altcoins in the shorter term are kind of just bouncing around sideways, especially in the case of Ethereum. And if we're taking a look at the price of Solana on the 2-day time frame, it's a similar situation for Solana. In fact, some would argue it's even a slightly more bullish situation for Solana, considering we've just recently hit a new higher high for Solana, and we're still holding above a very crucial area on the price chart, which is this area sitting in between around 190 to 200. And technically speaking, the larger trend is still currently bullish. We're still forming higher lows and higher highs, which is bullish price structure. And of course, for as long as we're holding above this area in between 190 to 200, we're still looking really good in terms of the larger trend here, the price structure. And so continue to expect support in that area in between 190 to 200. And as for resistance, if we ultimately see another bullish move here, expect the next major target sitting at around $230 based on this Fibonacci level. And then only if we break out above 230, we could likely see a move retesting these previous highs at closer towards around 265, give or take, based on the candle closes, or just under 300 based on the candle wick high. But once again, the immediate target to watch out for is at around $230. And then only if we confirm candle closes back below around 190 to 200, below that area, only in that situation, that would start to be a breakdown in the bullish price structure, pointing towards these lower targets, like for example, 167 or at least around 180 as a likely scenario. But I want to make it clear, at least for now, we're still bullish. We're not currently in that bearish scenario because we're still holding above the golden pocket. So overall, expect the price to basically hold this golden pocket here, especially if the Bitcoin dominance continues to pull back. Once again, if Bitcoin dominance is pulling back, that means Solana and a lot of altcoins are going to be holding up relatively well in the shorter term. And if we're taking a look at the short-term Solana price chart, looking at the 6-hour time frame, technically speaking, we still have this bearish divergence still currently active. As I talked about in my last video, I said in my last video just yesterday, right around here, that we're most likely going to see either a bit of choppy sideways price action or maybe a very slight little pullback, which obviously over the last one day has perfectly played out as predicted. And this could likely continue maybe for another day, maybe just in the form of some choppy sideways price action. I don't necessarily expect massive bearish price action, but still kind of lacking momentum just for maybe another day. Lacking bullish momentum is what I mean. But once again, if the Bitcoin dominance is pulling back, it's unlikely we'll see a major bearish price action for Solana and a lot of the altcoin market. And if we're taking a look at the price of XRP on the weekly time frame, obviously XRP is still playing out the massive bearish divergence that I've been warning about every single day over the last 1 month, since almost all-time highs at around $3.40. I started warning about this huge bearish divergence, telling you a month ago, expect a major pullback, or at best just a lack in bullish momentum for a period of weeks, if not months. And obviously over the last 1 month, since $3.40, we have already started to play that out as predicted, as I warned about. But as I've also been saying over the last 1 month, this could likely continue well into September. So just because we're reaching the end of August, don't think that this is just going to stop right now. It could potentially continue well into September in the form of a larger pullback, or once again, at best, just lacking bullish momentum. And if we're taking a look at this daily XRP price chart, in the very immediate short term, we're seeing a slight little bounce, which I'll talk about in just a moment, but we're still trading below this crucial area right here in between around 285 to 290, which previously has been acting as key support. So obviously for the bulls out there, we need to quickly get back above ideally $2.90 and start holding above that area as new support in order to basically save the price from potentially dropping towards the next major area of support, which first of all, we have a bit of support at around 275, but the next major area is sitting in between around 255 to 262. That would be the next target if we break below this low right here that we set back at the beginning of August at around 275. And obviously, as I talked about in my last video, we're also currently forming a possible descending triangle pattern for the price of XRP on the daily time frame. So this is also definitely something to pay attention to, because if we confirm daily candle closes below around $2.75, and especially if we fail to get back above above that area, that would be very bearish for the price of XRP, at least in the following days, if not weeks, and that will set up a bearish price target, which I also talked about in my last video. But once again, in the immediate short term, with the pullback continuing, the Bitcoin dominance, and with the price running into this support here for the price of XRP, that is helping the price just a little bit in the immediate short term find a bit of support and see a very slight little bounce. But overall, once again, the larger structure, the larger momentum, still not looking too good, still showing a lot of weakness, lacking bullish momentum. And so once again, we still have a lot of support at roughly 275, and if we were to continue a little bit more of a short-term bounce here, the next major point of resistance is this descending line of resistance here, sitting at approximately $3, just above $3. And if we're taking a look at the price of Chainlink on the daily time frame, it's a similar situation for Chainlink. Obviously, we're still lacking bullish momentum as a result of a bearish divergence I'll talk about in just a moment. But if we're looking at the key levels on the price chart to watch out for, first of all, we're still finding a lot of resistance at close to $25, so still expect a lot of resistance at around $25, and also a bit of resistance at around $24.30 to $24.40 based on this Fibonacci level right here. And above all of that, if we break out back above $25, of course, we still have significant resistance at close to $27 and just under $27, so around $26.70 to $27 acting as strong resistance, as I've warned about many times since before all of these perfect rejections from that area. And if Chainlink continues this short-term pullback here, of course, we do have a bit of short-term support at roughly $23, but below that, if we break below $23 with confirmation, the next target would be at roughly $21.40, $21.50, give or take, based on this low right here, could act as a bit of support. And the next significant area on the price chart is in between $20 to $21, but once again, the immediate support to watch out for is at around $23. And like I just mentioned, and as I've mentioned every day for the last 1 week, give or take, 1 to 2 weeks, we have a major bearish divergence on the daily time frame already confirmed, already starting to play out, which means expect a lot of weakness for the price of Chainlink, a lack in bullish momentum. So that means obviously either a slight pullback or just some choppy sideways price action is the most common outcomes from a bearish divergence. And obviously over the last 1 week, 1 to 2 weeks, we've already started to see that exactly as expected. And this could likely continue over the next few days as well. But once again, as I've said throughout the video and many videos recently here on the channel, if the Bitcoin dominance continues to pull back, which it is doing right now, that's going to help a lot of the altcoins in the short term hold up a little bit better than what Bitcoin is doing, which means we may end up avoiding some of that bearish price action just in the shorter term while we're seeing that pullback in the Bitcoin dominance, which ultimately is pointing towards maybe a bit of a sideways consolidation for a lot of these altcoins in the short term. Still lacking bullish momentum, but avoiding further bearish price action for now, thanks to the pullback in the Bitcoin dominance. And once again, if you want to trade any of these moves in the price of any crypto, check out the links below this video to those exchanges if you want to claim those massive bonuses that are only available using those links. And if you want to actually know how you can trade crypto no matter what the price is doing, then make sure to watch these videos popping up right here on your screen. The video in the top left shows you how you can profit from bullish or bearish price action using long positions or short positions, and the video in the bottom left shows you how you can easily profit from choppy sideways price action. But anyway, that is everything that I have to say for today. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.